I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just, oh, we have hope. You have given hope. There's a new hope. I get it. I get it. God, what is this, Rogue One? Hi. Is it just me or at the beginning of the episode? Do they have way too much fun shooting at their own crew member? Like, hi, Ezra. I mean, I'm sure they've dialed down the power on the blaster, so it's not actually lethal. It's just really. So, Ezra has a vision. Oh, I've seen the future. We must go and contact the senator in exile, Brent Spiner. Quick! I'm just glad that Kanan is the only one who actually has the sensibility to have some caution, which turns out to be completely correct. And of course, more continuity. Uh, we have Zer there. I I swear I'll stop talking about the continuity at some point. I'm just really enjoying it, that's all. Although, speaking of continuity, there's a really small one in this episode I liked. Padawan Jabba. And he says it so straight-facedly. I love it. I also know it's a cliche, but you ever wonder why they keep the Stormtrooper thing going? Like, I mean, obviously we know the out-of-character reason why Stormtroopers look that way. But from an in-character perspective, it's a little too easy to infiltrate Stormtrooper areas by just putting on a helmet and a uniform. Yep. Anyways. So there's this really horrible bit. Like, Chopper is just... I'm still not really there with Chopper. But he disables this other droid and then just kind of shoves it into the sewer. That poor droid. What did he do? Speaking of quiet things that are actually really horrible when you think about it, there's this throwaway line. In fact, I've noticed a lot of the really dark aspects of the shows are throwaway lines they don't spend a lot of, on-screen time on. There's this throwaway line about how there used to be so much water here you couldn't walk through here. But then the Empire started rationing. Think about that for a second. Oh my god, that is horrible. What possible purpose would the Empire have in doing that other than the usual we're evil and we're oppressing you kind of perspective? That just... Of course, the only thing I could come up with there as far as a rational or logical explanation is they wanted to shunt all of the resources of both food and water over to the troops, into the Imperial base kind of a thing. Just... So then, oh my god, they knew it was us, it's a trap, and they're completely surrounded by stormtroopers. No! It's a good thing they're... I'm not going to make the joke again, I swear. What I'm going to point out is, those guns have a stun setting, right? I mean, they could have just been like, we've got them surrounded, and then just immediately shoot on stun, because they have a stun setting. Anyways... So then they try to get away, and honestly, one of the things I liked is how quickly Hera picks up on the fact that Senator Evil, Senator Brent Spiner, was actually, an Imperial agent. It was a nice little touch. I especially like how she caught him with the really obvious trick, the Die Hard trick, basically. You remember, right? Here's the gun. Oh, no. Whoops, no ammo. I even like her comment, a true rebel would know the difference between a charged blaster and an empty one. Anywho, so they make their daring escape, and they talk about hope 15 times. One of the things I do like, this is just a minor aside, is Kanan makes a comment about how visions are almost impossible to interpret. Now, we could comment on that one way or the other, since in this case the visions were literally just shots of the later parts of the episode. But one of the things I've always liked the idea of is that the Force is something that is very easy to use and very difficult to use properly. That's always been my mentality. Ever since I was a kid and first watching the original trilogy and reading the original books, that was kind of how I've seen the Force. It's like a Force sensitive can access and tap into the Force just like that. It's a natural thing. It just flows. But actually getting it to work properly, to understand what you're seeing, or to be more precise with what you're doing, and so forth and so on, much more difficult. That's what takes the time and training. At least, that's the way I've always liked to think of it. And this episode kind of helps to showcase that. Ezra so far has shown quite a bit of talent, well, not word talent, quite a bit of, let's call it throughput with the Force. He's got, a natural battery of the Force going. His mana pool is high, if you want to put it into such terminology. But he can barely process it at all. A perfect example, this is right at the beginning of the episode. He is actually capable of blocking those blasters, but that's it. Not actually reflecting them black to where he specifically wants them to hit, which would be the precision part of things. In fact, he only manages that when he completely loses control, which is actually the second time, by the way, that he has blacked out and basically become one with the Force in that period of time. I hope they follow through on that in the future. But for now, I'll see you guys next time, because I'm pretty sure I know which episode's coming next. I'll be curious to see him again.